What's up, VC? Bobby B here. I know it's been a while. It's time for another episode of Spins and Finds and whatever. I know it's been a while, but I got so much, tons of records to talk about here. So let's not dwell on where I've been, where you've been. I hope everybody's happy and healthy. Let's not draw attention to my horrible farmer's tan, but let's just focus on the music, because that's what we're here to talk about. That's what you're here to watch, and that's what I'm here to share with you. So we're going to talk about records. I bought a lot of records over the last little while. When the whole COVID thing started, of course, I didn't have opportunities to buy records, as many of us were kind of in the same place. But anyways, yeah, let's just get started. And I'll start with a few records I bought before all of this COVID stuff happened. It was back, it was sad news actually. It was a local disc jockey, local DJ, Dave Bookman. He was known as Bookie by many. He was on the radio station CFNY 102.1 The Edge throughout the 90s, and then he switched over to a station called Indie 88. And he was the last of a certain type of DJ, like the kind that actually went out, supported independent artists, promoted independent artists. He didn't stick to a playlist the way you kind of have to in this day and age, but he was given the freedom to kind of do what he wanted. And part of what he did also was he promoted. He had a regular at a local place called the Horseshoe Tavern every Tuesday night. They had free Dave Bookman's New Music Night. It was free. He would book 3 or 4 bands, independent bands, unsigned bands to play those nights, and they would get exposure. And you know, to be able to kind of hold that free event for a couple of decades, to have the ability and the pull to do that, was something special. So anyways, it was May 20th 2019 he died from a brain aneurysm, and we lost the last great DJ here in the city. Where am I going with this? Well, what's interesting is he also had an enviable record collection, and his records were donated to another local record store called Rotate This, and they were sold off with all of the proceeds going to Music Counts, which you know is something that kind of furthers the aid of independent musicians. So it was for a good cause, but it was also an opportunity to own a piece of history. Now, the sale was on a Thursday when I had to work, so I missed out on it. But I went in to Rotate This the next day, and unfortunately 11 crates of, I'm sure, awesome records were sold off. But there was still quite a good amount of stuff left over. And that includes even a personal, I guess, grail, you know, a record I've wanted for a long time. So I'll show you what I picked up from the Bookie collection. And the first thing I picked up was by, well, first of all, there's a few 45s, a few singles that I picked up. The first is this one. It's an early single by a band called Thrush Hermit. Thrush Hermit, a Canadian alt rock band. They only released a couple of albums, but their vocalist and guitarist Joel Plaskett has gone on to great success here as a solo artist and with his band, the Joel Plaskett Emergency. But prior to that, he was in this band. I liked this band a lot better than his solo material. Well, here's actually I'll play. This is probably the only sample I'll play today, but this is from. They recently celebrated the anniversary, I guess the 20-year anniversary of this album, Clayton Park. This is finally reissued. It was never available on vinyl before. This was reissued for the anniversary, and it's a Canadian classic as far as I'm concerned. This is one of the, here's a little sampling of one of the singles. From the back of the field, he said, "Shut up, rushing you. You look so good with a gun, but your hat doesn't suit you. If I were fearless, I'd take a bullet and impress my friends. But who's impressed when I get shot?" gonna get shut down. But anyways, that's I don't know. I think that'll be fine. But so that gives you a taste of what they're like. Just some great classic alt rock, rock and roll from the East Coast. So this single, this is an early single from before they had they were signed to any Canadian label. It's a few songs. It features the songs Maria, Simple Universal Leader, and Caught. And it's just a really cool record, orange vinyl. So that was part, and all of these records from the Bookie collection have this sticker on it. So there was that. There was also another Canadian band, Jail. Another single, 45 from them. A song called Promise, backed with another song called 3 Days. But they call this, I mean, it's a single, but they're calling it the Cut EP. They were also another alt-rock band from Nova Scotia. The one singer, I believe it's, I'm going to mix it up. It's either Jennifer Pierce. It's either Jennifer Pierce or Laura Stein. No, it's Laura Stein from the band. She married Joe Pernice from the Pernice brothers, and she's Canadian, obviously, and lives in Toronto, and that's why Joe Pernice now lives a few blocks away from me here in Toronto as well. Anyways, they were a great alt-rock band, so I was very happy to get that single. And actually, I guess there were two Grail. This one's more of a Grail that I picked up from the Bookman collection, because this one's, I'm going to show you an LP that's a bit of a Grail as well, but the LP isn't that hard to find. This single is hard to find, and it's a Grail too. Two of my favorite Canadian bands, Eric's Trip and Sloan. And basically, one side is Eric's Trip covering a Sloan song entitled Laying Blame, and then Sloan is covering an Eric's Trip song, on the two Eric's Trip songs on the other side, the songs Stove and Smother. Yeah, and you can see it's very DIY. It's awesome, and it comes with you know, some stuff from their early label. This was on Cinnamon Toast Records, Cargo Records, Sappy Records. I think those are all independent releases. But anyways, so that was a huge find for me. Very happy to get that. And then I got some albums from the Bookie collection as well. Albums, they're more like this is like a 12-inch single or an EP. Grant Hart from Husker Du 2541 is the name of the song. One of my favorite songs of all time. Backed with Come Come and Let's Go. Grant Hart, beautiful record. Really happy to get that. And also a couple more kind of jangle pop releases in the Bookman collection, the Bookie collection. You got the Long Riders with this EP, 10-5. What's it called? 10-5-60. The Long Riders, if you don't know them, they were, let me just get my facts straight here. They were an alt country band, but kind of associated with the Paisley Underground as well, and they were active in the 80s, 82 to 87 primarily. Kind of cowpunk, roots rock, but yeah, another great power pop band, so I was very happy to get that. Another great power pop band that you may be familiar with if you know this kind of music. It's the Feelies, and this is their album Only Life. So very, very happy to get that. They're from New Jersey. So again, also part of the Bookie collection. This next one was the big one though. And I'm sure many of you will be familiar with this one. Also part of the Bookie collection. Paisley Underground, The Rain Parade. Alt rock, psych rock, or neo psych band from LA. And this is one of the greatest albums of all time. I love it. And it was so great to to pick this one up. And the fact that it's part of the Bookie collection is kind of a nice touch to this. So Emergency Third Rail Power Trip is the name of the album. So just an absolute classic, and I am very, very excited to own that record as well. So, and it's interesting, it segues nicely because I'll show you a few records I picked up at the last kind of live shows I went to prior to COVID and all this stuff being locked down. One of the last shows I went to was it was the Sadies at the end of the year last year, the Sadies, but they had opening for them a couple of legends. They had Scott McCoy from the -5, Young Fresh Fellows. He's done stuff with REM as well. And Steve Wynn from the Dream Syndicate, Baseball Project, Miracle 3, kind of label mates, all part of that Paisley underground scene as well. I saw them live before all of this happened, and you know, they were literally, you know, 6 feet in front of me. It was just amazing. It was such a privilege to get to see those artists. Yeah, so that was one of the live shows, but there were other live shows too, and man, I'm missing live music, something fierce, I'm telling you. You know, watching streams and stuff like that just ain't the same. I'm sure you're feeling the same way, especially when you live in a city. You know, it's almost harder when you live in a city like Toronto, because there's opportunities to do stuff surrounding you. But we're not like New York, where people are kind of still running free. You know, the rules and regulations are in place, and most people are adhering to them. So, you know, that's good to see. We're things, you know, they're fluctuating a little bit, but you know, numbers are still down quite a bit. So, I mean, I know it has to be done, but I am missing concerts. One of the last concerts I went to was a great psych band called Elephant Stone. And sorry, I kind of try to look up. They're from Montreal, I believe. Yeah, and they feature Rishi Deer, who plays the the sitar. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. So at that concert, I picked up a couple of their albums. I picked up this album here. This is a slightly older one. It came out in, it's called The Three Poisons, came out in 2014. Delicious Psych Rock. Is this on any kind of colorful vinyl? No, just Delicious Black, as the douche would say. But a phenomenal album. And this is authentic. Like, this is really authentic stuff too. So I love this band, Elephant Stone. You may remember in one of my other videos I spoke about a band called Mine. I think how was that spelt? Mien or something like that. And Rishi's part of that band too. But this is just classic sounding psych rock. I also picked up their new album Hollow, which has a bit of a Kinks feel to it, I would say. It is a concept album, I guess, of sorts. I don't know what the concept is because I'm dumb, but yeah, some really nice harmonies, very, very 60s styled music. Yeah, you got your lyrics sheet, and it is on, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's on some red vinyl. Oh no, I guess it's more pink. Pinkish red. Oh, it looks red in the video, doesn't it? But trust me, if you were here, you'd be saying, you know, it's a little less red and a little more pink. But if you're watching it on video right now, you're probably saying, no, more red, less pink. But just trust me, you're wrong. That's what you're thinking, you're wrong. Believe me. Okay. Opening for Elephant Stone was a local psych band. They were a lot of fun. They were crazy, nutty, wacky bunch. But they call themselves Roy, R-O-Y. and they didn't have any music or anything, you know, you could buy yet at the live show. But since then, they've released an album, so I contacted them on Instagram and bought it, picked it up at the doorstep. Roy, Peace, Love, and Outer Space is the name of the album. And it's exactly what the title of the album sounds like. Again, kind of psych rock. I don't know what you would compare it to. What does it say here? The rather anonymous Canadian collective weaves a tale of celestial beings that descend with a message of peace and love, omniscient objects, and government cover-ups. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Is it also black? Yeah, black vinyl. Kind of a cool. Here, I'll show you the center label though. Kind of a neat center label there. The other side has the thing. Is this one of these records that doesn't tell you what side you're on? Yeah, so that's annoying, but other than that, the album is everything you'd ever want in a record, really. I think it has a little inner, oh yeah, just kind of a nice little note to the fans inside. So yeah, solid, a really good record. Look him up, Roy. I wonder if I can pull up a Roy, Peace, Love, and Outer Space. Yeah, here, I'll play you a little something here. What about Take Off Your Tin Hat? Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, give this a listen. Roy. No? Really good stuff. I highly recommend that album. Really good. And their live show was a lot of fun. Not sure if we're ever getting live music again, but whatever. And the very last live band I saw live is another psych band. I think they're out of Boston, if I ain't mistaken. Post Animal is their name. And no, they're from Chicago, Illinois. And it was an unbelievable show. The last hand I shook prior to COVID was the guitarist for the band, Matt Williams. But the COVID thing was just starting. We were the first stop on their tour. They were worried that the tour was going to end, and sure enough, it was. I think they got one more show in before everything was shut down. Anyways, this is their new album, Forward Motion Goddessy, it's called. As you can see, 4 of them signed my record. And it's on some pretty cool looking vinyl. This is the inner sleeve with lyrics that are literally impossible to read. Like, nobody has time to read. Like, you gotta squint like crazy. And, you know, you shouldn't have to squint when listening to music. That's just a personal belief that I have. The record's really nice looking though. It's I don't know what does it tell you what they call this? They call it black in yellow vinyl. Because as you can see, it's yellow primarily, but there's some black in it. So but yeah, an excellent record. Interestingly, so this is new. They released another album in 2018, that I'll show you in a moment. Yeah, like I actually like the other album a little bit better. Oh, and a side note, the band used to include a guy named Joe Keery, who's the handsome guy in Stranger Things, the TV show Stranger Things. But he's left, and anyways, you should read up on that. It's kind of interesting because the band missed having him there, but they also kind of were bugged that he was the reason people were checking him out. What I love is that I came across this band and I knew none of that and loved them. And then kind of the day of the concert, I did a little bit of research, as you do. And that's when I kind of, you know, found out that little tidbit. So I liked them without knowing that this guy was involved. But anyways, they had an album in 2018 called When I Think of You in a Castle. I didn't buy it at the show. I was kind of upset about that. But then last week, record stores are opened up again. You got to wear masks and distance and things like that. But I found their other record there, and it was half price. So I had to get it. This one's a little more psyche. Well, I don't know if it's more psyche. Anyways, I like the songs better on this one. It's called When I Think of You in a Castle. This is also a limited edition, like that last one. That last one's limited to something like 600 or something like that. Yeah, 600. This one's also limited too, supposedly, but and it's also kind of a pretty psychedelic, purplish, reddish something or other. I don't know what you'd call that. It sounds delightful. And what do we got here? Inner sleeve. Oh yeah, pictures of the band. Yeah, this is the Stranger Things guy, right? But anyway, awesome record. Post Animal, When I Think of You in a Castle. And then I'll show you one more here. And then what I'm going to do is I'll end this video, and then I'm going to do a load of laundry. I'm going to make another video. I think today, because I got the time, I'm going to make a couple of videos, and then I'll just kind of release them incrementally. Sound good? I think that's a good idea. This is the band that opened for Post Animal when I saw them. I don't even think they have. See, I look on Wikipedia to give you info on stuff, but they don't even have a wiki page. But I'll tell you something about them in a second here. Twen is the name of the band. And this is their album, Awestruck is the name of the album. And I was awestruck when I saw them. They, sometimes the opening act is kind of more of a footnote than anything else. But I thought they were just as good as Post Animal. Their music was a little bit more alt rock. It had a, the lead singer. It's basically a guy and a girl, primarily, and they're from Nashville, Tennessee, and she's she had a very eccentric personality. The kids were digging it. First couple songs I was like, okay, I see why the kids dig this, but I don't know if it's my thing. But by the third song in, the guitarist, his guitar, it had a jangle to it that brought back a bit of Johnny Marr to me. Kind of Johnny Marr meets, I don't know. Anyways, I really liked it. It reminded me of kind of those bands there, and I thought the album was really, really good. I got them to sign my record too, and they decided they'd graffiti it instead. So that's kind of cool, I guess. And it's on clear vinyl. And there's the thing, Awestruck by Twen. Yeah, I recommend them too. I don't know. Can I pull up here? I'll give you a sampling of them before I go. Twen, Awestruck. No wait, Twen. Oh yeah, Damsel. Yeah, this is the song. Yeah, you'll dig this a little bit here. think I'll leave it there for now. So my next video or two, I'm going to be wearing the same shirt. It's not because I don't change, even though I don't. But it's just because I'm filming all these videos right now. So hope you enjoyed that episode, Spins, Finds, and whatever. And I'll see you on the next episode.